Hello, Puppet. Welcome back to HRT. I hope your week was swell. Today's guest is Matt. Matt is 21 and from Virginia. Matt and I had a dope ass conversation about his life, his coming out story. Um, we also talked a lot about sports, trans people in sports, and how frustrating and how stupid the argument is. And yeah, it was a great episode. I had a lot of fun talking to Matt, and I know you're going to enjoy it too. So stick around for that. Join the Discord, Patreon. I would appreciate it. Subscribe to me on here. I drop videos every Tuesday. You want stickers? Because I'm trying to make stickers. They look like this. If you're driving, stop driving and look. They look like that. I would appreciate it if you guys bought some stickers. They are not out yet, but I'm trying to do that soon. So let me know if anyone gives a fuck. If you do, that would be cool. This is a mess and I don't care, but let's go talk to Matt. Okay, bye. I'm going to start by asking you where you were from.
Yes, so I've lived in Virginia my entire life.
West Virginia. Sorry,
Yeah.
had to. How does Virginia treat you as a trans
Yeah,
person?
it's definitely depends on where you're at. I'm more like in the city area, like beach area, and those people are pretty chill. But then the more west or south you go,
Mm.
like definitely before I started T, it was rough. Like just my voice would give me away immediately, and they'd think I was just like, a very
Yeah.
strange little girl or something. Like, I don't know what's up with this girl. But
A
like
very strange little
that's
girl.
what it felt like for sure. Like I
Yeah.
definitely got perceived more as like maybe like a butch lesbian or something before
Mm,
T, which
mhm.
is really funny because I'm mostly into guys. But anyway, but then as I started transitioning, it was like older people actually gendered me correctly more. I guess because they can't see as well, and they would be
Mm,
like the most affirming people.
that's funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. But then people my age, I feel like they could kind of tell, but like some people like think it's the other way because for some reason a lot of people think trans people can't look like the gender they're transitioning to. So sometimes I would get
Right.
perceived as like a trans woman instead, and it was like you're close. No, like you're close,
You
but
have the right concept,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. There's trans somewhere in here. Is like what they're
right.
going through their head.
No, dead ass. I feel like also older people don't like they'll just they'll just say it how it is or whatever they see they'll go with.
Yep.
They don't take time to question it where
No.
people who are more around our age like are too afraid to offend or
Right. Yeah.
either are transphobic and don't care to hurt your
Yeah.
feelings or not. You know
Because
what
I
I
know
mean?
some people like are afraid to ask, but I really don't mind people asking. Like I get it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like I'd rather you ask what my pronouns are than guess and get it wrong. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like mm. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 21.
21.
Do
Nice.
I look 21 to you, by the way? Because I get mistaken as a lot younger. A lot.
Honestly, I was gonna say you could pass for like 22, 23.
That helps.
Yeah, I'm 24. You don't. I mean, we always look young, so.
Right. Yeah. I was so excited when I got the ID, like, 'cause I have the, vertical one now. Because I had to use my
Mhm.
old permit ID, and every time they would use it, they'd be like, "You're not 21. Look at this. Look at this little baby. You're not 21."
Look at this. Yeah, that's how it is for us. It
Yeah.
sucks, but I'd rather look young all my life than old. So.
That's what everybody tells me. They're like, "Hey, you're gonna really like this when you get older." I'm like,
Mhm.
"You're probably right. You're probably right."
Yeah, but at this age, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
You said you're on testosterone, right?
Yes, I've been on T since November 2022. So like, yeah, over a bit over a year.
Nice, nice.
Hmm.
IM or sub Q?
It is sub Q.
I understand. What's your dose? Not that I'm gonna
It's
understand it, but
right. I just had an appointment and we're doing 0.35 now. But
Mm.
like I want to up to point 0.4. It's just my acne's actually cleared up, but it was like really bad, like really painful, and like they were saying if I up it, it might get worse. And I was like,
Mm.
So we'll see how it goes.
I don't. I never understood how like dosage would fix or help
Yeah,
acne. I Acne is, like, really hard to deal with, I feel
Right.
like, for any trans guy.
Mhm.
Does that happen for trans women? Do trans women get bad
They
acne
actually
with
their
estrogen?
skin, from what I've seen, it, like, clears up more. It's so
Wow.
unfair. It gets, like, softer and clears up and all that.
Love getting the shit end of the stick with that.
Right. But,
That's
like,
great.
yeah, it's definitely, like, pros and cons because I feel like with tea, the voice dropping is, like, so
Yeah.
OP. So,
Yeah,
I get it.
100%.
They can have their clear skin.
I've thought about going to a dermatologist, but
Mhm.
I don't know if they'd even be able to help me with
Right,
acne
yeah.
since it's all hormonal for the
Yeah, I feel
most
like they
part.
don't get a lot of trans people in, and they're like
Yeah. I don't wanna have to deal with another doctor who
Yeah,
doesn't
because I
understand.
had really bad acne when I went through, like, normal puberty, and then it cleared up, and then I went to testosterone, and then it got worse again. I was like, "Okay, great, we're back."
Yeah. I never
Yeah,
got acne,
yeah.
like, in middle school or anything. I get, like, one pimple on the tip of my
Mm,
nose,
I
like,
see.
once a month maybe, and that
Mhm.
was it, and then I started testosterone and, oh,
Yeah,
I really it was a big change, I
it
won't lie.
was. And the thing is, like, I had, acne in the past. I was like, "Okay," and I tried to use the same products, and it didn't work because it's
Yeah.
not the same reason at all. So I had Planned Parenthood gave me, like, some kinda gel thing that helps a lot. So that's what I
Is that
use.
is that where you get your, hormones from? Planned
Yes,
Parenthood?
yeah, Planned Parenthood.
How is that? How do they treat you?
It's really nice there, honestly. I feel very like welcome and open and all that. I kind of wish there was more trans people working there. It's weird because
Mhm.
whenever I have sometimes I have like a audio call like this, and it will be a trans person on the call, which is really nice because
Hmm.
they just like get things. But when I'm in office, it's like pretty much all it's like cis women, and they're really nice and stuff. But it's like I feel like I'm explaining this to you, and you have no idea what I'm
Different.
talking about. But you're here for me. You're supportive, so
You're putting on a smile, yeah.
yeah.
Um, okay, so you go to Planned Parent is that all remote?
Mhm.
You say you do, like, Zoom calls with
Sometimes
them?
it depends. Like if I need to get like the blood drawn and stuff, then I go in person. But otherwise, like my in Virginia is so busy that they prefer remote stuff. So sometimes I'll be in a call with someone who's like in a different city, but still Planned Parenthood. Because
Mm.
my next appointment's supposed to be in July, and they were like, we're too busy, so we're gonna put you on a waiting list. I'm like, a waiting list? I already go here. What are
For
you talking
what?
about?
I already go here. That deadass. That's kinda how folks is too, where I get my hormones from. I
Hmm.
just had an appointment with them, and I realized that it's just some woman in her living room talking to me, like, she just works from home, and I'm like, "Damn, that's kind of a dope ass job."
Yeah, it really
Like,
is.
I'm kinda jealous. Surgeries. Have you
Hmm.
gotten any? Do you want any?
Yeah, so for this one, it's kind of like a good problem, but I still feel kind of isolated because growing up, I was always really flat chested. And
Mm.
like, it, people made me feel like I was supposed to be insecure about it, but I was like, I kind of like it. I don't know why. So when I, when I
I mean,
started
period.
testosterone, it like, even more. So I was wearing a binder, and then it got to a point where I don't even need a binder anymore. And I think I could maybe go out in public without one, but I'm just so scared still of like they're gonna know somehow. But I just like feel like I don't really need the top surgery, which is
Mm.
fine. But
Uh,
there's people who will come up to me and like they'll be like nice about it, but they're like, so I got this surgeon and he did this and that. So when you get yours, you should go here. And in my head, I'm like, thank you, but like just the when, I guess it's like it's not an if, it's a when for a lot of people, and I just
Mm,
feel like that's everybody's different. Everybody
mhm.
says that, but I don't feel like a lot of people actually think that. I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Now, you don't would you say you don't have any interest in getting surgeries as a trans person? Like,
yeah. I
at all?
think if I had a bigger chest, I would have, but because of what I have, I just feel like I just don't need it, and I feel really lucky in that way. But it's still like kind of isolating, I guess.
For sure, I
Yeah.
bet. Can I ask how do you still get, like, dysphoria from that, though, and it's just not as
Mhm.
bad to the point where you feel like you don't need surgery, or do you not oh, Jesus. Move
I
my mic.
used to have dysphoria about it, but then testosterone pretty much like when I look at myself in the mirror, like I see like a man's chest, which is really awesome. So
Period, king. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
And there's definitely a narrative within the trans community that, the whole not being trans enough, you have to get the surgeries and
Hmm.
in certain steps, you have to start testosterone first and all that
Right.
shit, where it's just like, again, Not a new concept, but there's no one way to be trans. So
Yeah, it makes me sad because a lot of cis people try to push narratives onto trans people, and then when I see trans people pushing it on other trans people, it's like, guys, we're all,
hmm
can't be doing that.
it's I don't know. It's from a community that clearly suffers from a lot of pain and judgment from the outside world. We sure as hell. It's probably the point, though. We probably are just all such like broken and sad people sometimes that I think we
That's
project it
real.
onto
Yeah,
others who are
for
just
sure.
like us.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. If you don't have like crippling dysphoria from that, then why waste your time and money
Yeah,
something you don't feel like you need? Period. For you.
thank you.
Um, when did you come out as trans?
Yeah, I guess it was like kind of a process because I did the path of like she, they, she, they, them, they, he, they type
Yeah.
deal. It's one of those.
Mhm.
I
The
think
little
it's probably
stepping
just
stones.
because a lot of cis men are, just very, how do you even describe it? Just very like disrespectful of a lot of like women in general, I guess. So I didn't want to feel like that, but then I realized like a man can be doesn't have to be that way. You can be whatever kind of man you want to be. So that helped a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah, when I was like 17, that's when I started identifying as non-binary, and then when I turned 18, that's when I realized that I am just like a trans guy. Yeah.
Mm, period. Were you still in high school, coming out of high school?
So I was part of the 2020 class, which really sucked. So
Mm.
it was kind of weird because technically I was in high school, but we didn't go back to school from March to June. So like my graduation was in the gym with just me and the principal and like five people I was allowed to bring, and he just like elbowed me, and then I had to get the
Yeah.
diploma from someone with gloves on. It was like
Oh, that
it was
sucks.
the most BS thing ever.
I would forever like look back at my graduation like, damn, that sucks
It
ass.
was such a like non-event. It's honestly really funny. And people are
I,
jealous of me because they're like, you didn't have to sit through everybody else. And I'm like, I guess, but like,
I mean, at that point though, I'd rather just get my diploma in the mail.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
like fuck that.
It was such a non-event. Like, this is so. What are we doing?
Yeah, right. Like, what
It
was
was
the
such
point
like
of this?
unprecedented event. They're like, we don't know what. No, we haven't thought this far. Clearly.
Yeah, that's annoying. I remember my graduation, the weather fucked my graduation. So it like
Oh,
rained for 2 hours in the morning. So we were forced to sit in the gym at like 2 p.m. and it was hot and sticky and gross. And I was like, we could be outside right now. Like, what the
yeah,
fuck? Anyways, so you came out in, what did you say? 2020,
yeah,
right? So that's when you came out, but when did you know you were trans?
yeah.
Like from a young age or no?
Yeah, it feels like when I was like a really little kid, I knew, and then I kind of like repressed that, as puberty started
Mm.
and all that. Because I definitely like when I was like 7, I had like mostly male friends, and like I'd even like go to sleepovers with these male friends and all that. And I wanted to like be a boy, but I was like, you can't do that. Like that's not something you can do. You can,
Yeah.
and like
You can't.
the lack of representation really pushes that too, because I didn't see any trans people in media or anything like that. So it's like, oh, that's just not a thing, I guess.
That's
Yeah,
rough. Because then you grow up thinking, you're just a tomboy. You just
exactly.
like boy
I
things.
love
Ugh.
that word. That was like my word. That was like my identity.
Just because it had the word boy in it too,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah. No, I get that. Did you like was it something that like clicked one day where you were like, "Oh, like that's me," or was it like you always knew you were trans but didn't know how to tell people?
I think it didn't like click. I was in such deep denial. I was trying to do research of like how likely is it that like someone in my family is transgender? Because nobody is yet, and I'm like, maybe it's me. But like I felt like if I knew, I thought it was something that would be obvious to me, but it's like it's not. You got to do a lot of like thinking and deep diving sometimes. So I
Mm.
was like, if I was trans, I would know, right? But I used to, I would do this thing where I had like long brown hair and I'd put it in like a beanie, and that would be like my boy alter ego, and he was named Cody. Yeah.
I love that. Slay. That's perfect. Uh, every time I played a video game like Club Penguin or anything,
Mhm.
I chose the name Danny for some
Nice.
odd fucking reason. Don't
Yeah.
know. Uh, that's really funny though. I love
Yeah.
that.
I don't even know where it came from. It just I was like, "That's a boy name.
Yeah.
Cody."
uh, yeah, I tried to go for the main character name. What can I say?
Oh, yeah. Mine's just like a alter iteration of my old name. I was like one of those. I was like, this is easier because I didn't dislike the nickname that I went by. I just like masculinized it type thing because I don't like my birth name. Even when I was in like first grade, I didn't like it because I thought it at the time. I was like, maybe it's too fancy. No, it's too girly. It's okay.
Mm, yeah. No, I relate. My dead name also. I hated it, and I
Hmm.
never knew why. Never
Yeah.
fucking knew why. It's also a unisex name, kind of,
Hmm.
but I felt like more females had it, so I just
Hmm.
tried to get as far
I get
away
that.
as not. I didn't. I made it very similar. I
Hmm.
just took out a few letters of
Gotcha.
my dead
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
But and while I love the name Cody, I
Mhm.
definitely chose it to make it easier for everybody else, I feel
Yeah, I
like, in my
feel that.
life.
Yeah, like it definitely feels like mine now, but at the time it was like I wanted to be such a people pleaser about it. I was like, let me make this as easy as possible for you guys.
Mhm. But, like, thinking back, I don't even know like, if I wasn't trying to make it easier, I don't even know what name I would've chose. Like, Cody feels right,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right. Exactly.
I love the name Matt too. It's,
Thank
like,
you.
such a both of those names are so, like, just like trans boy names. Like, they're kinda just, like,
Yeah.
main character of a movie, you know what I mean? I
But I
love
can
it.
also just like fit in kind of because it's like Matt. Like everybody knows a Matt, so it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a
I
name.
I know, like, 4 Matts.
Right.
But I
But
see
yeah.
why, like I see why a trans guy would pick it, and I see
Hmm.
why a trans guy would pick the name Cody or,
And what's weird
like
is like my full name is Matt, like legally, it's not Matthew. And people
oh,
try to
really?
call me Matthew sometimes, and I'm like, it's not because Matthew felt too like biblical to me, I guess, because I'm not religious. I was like, I just like Matt. And I feel like it's kind of cool that Matt is my full name. It's like if people have like Bob as like their name, but not like Robert. I feel like it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
That feels very bad. Okay, so you came out in 2020.
Hmm.
Did you come out who'd you come out to first? Family, friends?
My partner, yeah, it wasn't really like a big deal. What's really funny is like when I so I've known my partner for like a long time since like fifth grade, but we were always like kind of like friends of friends. Like we had the same friends, and there was like rumors that he was dating this one guy that is both of our friends. I found out now it was never true at all. But like when I liked him as a girl, I was like, I don't think he's gonna like me back because I think he's gay. And like all my friends were like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy's gay. And then flash forward now, it's like, well,
That's really funny.
yeah, I think we're both just we don't really like label it because we've been together for so long. We're like 5 years now that I pretty sure we're both bi, but we're just kind of like he's like I'm mat sexual. I'm like that's so corny, but that's really cute.
No, period. Like, that's
Yeah.
how I felt in a lot of my relationships too. I mean, like,
Aw.
I don't know, I feel now wait, did you 2 start dating before you were trans or after you came out?
Yeah. Yep. So I
Before?
yeah at that point it's like I wasn't thinking about it kind of at all. There was definitely a period of time from like I was gonna say like 2013 to 2018 where I just like didn't really think about it. I had a lot of other stuff going on, I guess.
Mhm.
So,
Now you came out to your partner
mhm,
first, right?
yeah,
Dave were the first person. How did that go?
it was
I mean,
really
I'm guessing well
easy.
since you're still together,
Yeah,
but
he was just like, it was not a big deal at all to him because he just loves me as a person. So he was like, sure, hell
Mhm.
yeah.
So as it should be. And then
Yeah.
what happened next? Who'd you come out to after that?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't want to like sit down with each individual person, so it was like with my friends, I just kind of told them all, and they were like, "That makes sense, hell yeah."
Mm.
And they're all like LGBT too, mostly. I have like all of my friends are bi. I don't know how that happened. I have like a couple lesbian friends, couple gay. Everybody's bi, and then I have like there's like a couple straight friends in there. It's really funny. But we've all been
Sounds
friends
like a
since we were
fun friend group.
kids. We just kind of found each other before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That
that was
sounds
really
like a
easy.
fun friend group to me.
Yeah.
How about family? How did that
Family
go?
is tough. Yeah, my family. I didn't really get to come out to my mom. I came home. I mean, I was kind of pushing it at this point. I was coming home with like short hair, saying that I wanted to like keep it off my neck or something like that. I was like, it's just easier having short hair. So she walked into my room and was like, "Do you want to be a boy?" And I stuttered, and I was like, "Shit, I'm in it now. Okay." And I said yes. And then she freaked out, and I'm like, "Okay, well, if you weren't ready for the information, I don't know why you asked."
Yeah, like what the hell?
It's tough because it's like they're not supportive, but they definitely act like I did something crazy and horrific, and they're having to deal with the consequences or something. It's like
Mm,
I don't see it as like it is a big deal for me, but in like a positive way. But they see it as a big deal as like this changed their whole world, and they're trying really hard to adapt. And like I get it, like I want to be empathetic towards it, but it's like I just don't get why my gender matters so much when I'm still your kid. You know?
right. Period.
Yeah.
Couldn't say it any better myself. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been over a year now since you came out, right? At least to
Exactly.
them.
Yeah.
Look, maybe for the first month, 2 months,
Mhm.
I say a parent gets to be like, "Woe is me," but
Right.
not in like
Yeah.
a mean way. Just like, okay, like this is a lot to digest.
Yeah.
You get a month and a half tops, and then it's like, all right, I'm not dead, mother.
Right. It's
Like,
what it feels like. It's insane. It's like, why are you mourning? I'm right here. Oh my god.
yeah. So does that mean you don't get to like talk about being trans with them because they make it about them?
Yeah, like they don't even know like my shot days or like anything like that. I didn't tell them like when it was my year mark. And like every time my mom looks at like old pictures of me, she gets really sad. And it's like she needs to go to like a support group. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Like I mean like genuine like you need to because she doesn't have anybody in her life that's like going through the same thing. And I'm like, if you just talk to like other parents, I think it would really help you. But
Hmm. Staying in the dark with this stuff is probably the worst thing for a parent.
right.
Like, because even my mom too. Like, I feel like that's what changed everything for her is when she realized that I wasn't the only trans person in the world. Even
Yeah.
my dad too. Like, both of them. I feel like as
Right.
soon as they realize that, hey, other people, this happens to other people too.
Hmm.
I'm no longer like their outcasted kid. You know.
Right. Yeah, because it definitely also comes from a fear of like they don't want anybody to hurt me, obviously, and stuff like that. But it's like instead of being upset at them, it's like you're upset at me, like it's a choice or something. They're like, "Why would you do this?" I'm like, "It's not like the I
Mhm.
choose to transition, but I didn't choose to be trans." That's the disconnect they don't think of.
And it's like instead of trying to change your kid,
Hmm.
I know it's harder, but to try helping to change society or the world. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like be a part of that change instead of
Hmm.
trying to change your own.
Yeah, and my dad has gotten really supportive, which is good. He even because I wasn't expecting them to change their like to get rid of friends that weren't supportive. I just wasn't expecting them to do that. But my dad actually did. I was like, "Oh, thank you." And
Good.
I have two brothers, so he's had two sons already. So he's like, "Oh, I know how to do this. Like this is so it's definitely easier for him." But my mom definitely was like her mom was like the only daughter and then she was the only daughter and then she had me, so it was like a long lineage of that. And I kind of switched that around and she's like, wait, where's my daughter I can project onto?
Am I just like a not like sentimental person in that sense?
Hmm.
Because like that shit like never mattered to me, and I don't think it
Right.
would matter with my kid. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I just
okay,
don't. Yeah.
take a second to be like, damn, I guess that lineage or whatever the fuck it's called is over. But like,
Hmm.
okay, my kid's happy. Like, I don't
Yeah.
I never understood why that shit was such a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, she was like, I wanted to see you in your wedding dress. I wanted to have grandchildren, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I told her when I was like 12 that I didn't really want kids. And like, that wasn't even about being trans. It's just how I felt. And my brother had a kid. So it's like, you're still a grandma. Calm down. It's okay. It's all right.
Right.
Shout out my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah. That's probably hard to hear, all that stuff. I feel lucky that my mom didn't pull those cards so much on
Mhm.
me, like, "I wanted to see you in a wedding dress, I wanted to do this and that, because that's probably not fun.
It's tough. It took a lot for me to stop feeling guilty about it because I don't have anything to feel guilty about. It feels like I did something wrong. It's like I didn't. And then with my family, it's weird because I didn't lose anybody. Like I thought people would cut me out of their life. I didn't get cut out of anyone's life. They just kind of act kind of weird. It was weird. Like I definitely before T, they were not using the right pronouns. They were not like even trying. And then once I started passing, then they did. which like I appreciate, but at the same time it feels kind of backwards. Of like, oh, now you're a man, so now I'm gonna respect you because now you seem like a man to me. And it's like I always was. So
They're like respecting you and supporting you for the wrong reasons, but they still
yeah,
are, so you can't get
right.
that
Yeah, it's
mad.
it's really weird. It's a really weird
Yeah,
feeling.
that's an annoying dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
That's not fun. I don't know. Do you have like how's your extended family? Have you
Hmm.
had anybody that's just like, no, I don't want to be in this kid's life
Surprisingly,
anymore?
I think they're just my family's a big conflict avoidant type. So no one's ever said anything to my face, but I feel like there's probably some people who just kind of deal with me. But I did make a post like on Facebook that I think helped that I was like, if you love me like you say you do, you will try for me and like accept me and stuff. Because I do think these people actually love me. So hopefully they'll try. And I think it's gone pretty well so far. I knew my mom's parents were going to be supportive. They're really great, which I don't understand how that didn't translate to their daughter, but I don't understand. They're like the sweetest people ever. So they took it really well. My grandfather, unfortunately, we lost him a couple weeks ago, but he had this shirt that was blue and pink and white that he would wear for me when he
Oh,
saw me, and it's in my closet now. He was
that's
such a
adorable.
sweetheart, man.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's so cute.
it's so
Oh,
cute.
that's the kind of grandfather that would like go to Pride with you
Exactly.
and
He was
stuff.
such
That's
a
cool.
yeah, he was so great. And like he changed my name and like everything. Like the he gave me a call like the day after just to like say my name. He said, "Hey Matt." And he's like, "That's
Oh,
all. Love you. Bye." And I was like, "Oh my god, you're so cute. Stop
my
it."
heart would melt. It would be on the floor, literally melting in a
So
puddle.
they keep me going because I know they're always going to be like outwardly supportive. Everyone else is kind of like passively, I guess it feels like they I don't think they would stand up for me or any other trans person or anything. They'll just be like, "That's Matt. That's like my weird little nephew. I
Mm.
guess he's a boy now. I don't know."
uh, uh, that's like I don't know, because I feel like I relate where they like, especially with my dad. Like he'll,
Mhm.
and I've said this a million fucking times, but he'll. I know he respects me to my face, like uses my name and my pronouns at least now, but I saw like maybe a couple months ago, I saw on his phone, my name in his phone still wasn't fucking changed to
Oh my
Cody. And it's been like 7 years. So I was like, that's whack as fuck. And I was like, I thought we were making progress. Like, what? I don't know.
My grandma so my grandma had that problem, but because she's, my grandma, she came up to me and she was like, "Hey Matt, why haven't you changed your name on iMessage yet?" And I was like, "Grandma, you have to do that."
Oh, that's so wholesome. Are you kidding? Oh, I love that. I wish my dad like at least just ask, be like, "Hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you do
Yeah,
it?" Or play
right.
dumb and been like, why didn't you change it?" Like,
Yeah, and they think like a lot of people do stuff like that and they act like it's not a big deal. And it's like it cuts though, like it cuts deep still.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's such a simple thing to do, and you didn't even go to the lengths to do that. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And I know my dad also didn't tell his friends. Like, I haven't seen his friends
Mm-hmm.
since I was like 11 years old, probably,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they still think that my father has a daughter, which is
Oh my God.
crazy to me.
Yeah, a lot
Wild.
of yeah, my mom was kind of like, we want you to do it for and it's like there's a lot of people in the world. Can you do it for me sometimes?
There's a lot of people in the world. Can you help me, please? Like for real though.
Like you
That's
guys know a
funny.
lot of like they've lived in the same state their whole life. They know a lot of people around here. I'm like, I can't possibly get to everybody. It's a lot
That's
emotionally.
hilarious. No, yeah. And like, ah, that always bothered me too when someone I was close to didn't obviously you should never out a trans person, but
Mm,
if, somebody's misgendering like if somebody's misgendering me to my sister, I expect
mhm.
my sister to be like, "Hey, no,
Yeah,
his name is Cody."
yeah,
And like and she has every time, just using her as an example, but
good.
I expect that, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And like I think I've said it before, but we come out all the time, and it's incredibly fucking hard. You can't do it once for me when it's not even for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding? Imagine how it feels when you're the person who has to come out. Like, and imagine like how could you listen to somebody misgender somebody you love? You know what I mean? Like, how could you
Yeah.
sit there and be like, uh huh, yeah? I'm like, what? That's
It's just
wild.
so exactly. Like I wouldn't and like it's just I don't know if it's because I'm trans, but it's so much easier for me to start using someone's pronouns like right away, pretty much. And
Mhm.
I get that it's like a transition for other people and it's hard, but for me it's just like not really the case. It doesn't take me very long. And it'll
Dude,
take other people. They're like, "Sorry, we're still like trying, we're still learning." I'm like, it's been so long."
dude, like after a couple months, you truly have no excuse
Yeah.
anymore.
They're like, "But
And
we've known
like,
you as this for years." And it's like, I mean, how well did you really know me though?
period. Say it louder. Like, that hard for you? Like you're having trouble coping with it that much, then it proves that you never really knew me as a person.
Yeah, because everyone close to me is like, this makes sense.
Mhm.
The signs
Mhm.
were there.
Now, can I ask you, is
Mhm.
your mom or anybody in your family religious at all?
They, we kind of used to be, because my great grandmother was like the only one that was, and we would like go to church with her. So that definitely was like, yeah, didn't want to upset God or anything when I was little.
Oh no.
Because, you know, they put the, where it's like, he made you in his image and you don't
Mhm.
want to destroy that. It's like, well, I think if there is a God, you're like a blank canvas, and then you can do whatever you want with said canvas, and that's chill. I think
Period.
if there's like a God that like loves you, they, you know, they would be like, yeah, do what makes you happy.
Right. And like, if there's God, there is like 7 billion people in the world. You think he's focusing on me like all the
Yeah,
time? Like,
it's
what?
if people who constantly talk about it, it's like I feel like you guys have like main character syndrome where he's like really like keening in on you specifically.
I really feel like he doesn't have the time.
Right.
like, like that is wild to think that God cares that much about little old me. I don't know. Like that's
Little old
just
me.
little old me. Like honestly, I'm flattered, but
Right. Oh.
yeah, that's whack. So is it you? I guess yeah. You said for you, for your mom at least, it's more of like she's grieving the
Yeah.
person he used to be.
Yep.
And as I think you said before, that made you feel very guilty throughout your transition,
Oh
right?
yeah. Hmm.
Your transition should have no guilt in it whatsoever. So that like
Thanks.
pains me to hear.
Mm.
Like that you have to feel guilty for being who you are and
Yeah.
just expressing yourself
Right.
in the
Yeah. It
way
feels
you
like
see
I'm
fit.
doing something to them, and it's like
Ugh.
I'm not. It's all me.
Mm-hmm. And then you said it right in the beginning, like, why does gender matter? Like, it's such like a simple thing in my world. Like
Yeah.
I see gender as like this thing that like obviously matters a lot. Hello,
Right.
but like
Yeah.
also doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, because
Like,
everything is so gendered, and it's like, can we just chill?
can we just relax for a second, please? My God.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we've gotten to know you a little bit,
Hmm.
um, you like my little Funko Pop?
Yes.
He's
It's really
supposed to be
cute.
me, right?
That's awesome.
I love him. He sits right here. Anyways, sorry, I got a little distracted. Um, so today's topic is about trans people in
Hmm.
sports.
Yes.
You mentioned this in the survey, which I appreciate you taking.
Hmm.
And hearing that it was something you were passionate about made me want to talk about it today and ask you some questions about how you feel about it. Um, Obviously, it's a very big controversy
Hmm.
in the community, I guess. Um, so I guess, what are your thoughts on it? I'll start there. What are your thoughts
Hmm.
about trans people in sports?
Yeah. I said it's like definitely an issue because we deserve the same opportunities as everyone else. It's definitely an issue.
It definitely sucks.
Yeah, but for me, I just feel like I really don't like it when cis people get like super involved in it because I feel like it's not enough of an issue impacting them that they need to be so upset about it. Like obviously I think they should be involved if they're supportive of it, but if they're like, super against it, it's like I unfortunately there's not a lot of us even involved in the conversation. So it's like I don't think it'll ruin your sport.
Mm,
Like it's I just
mhm.
yeah.
That's huge facts, honestly. I mean, like, I've thought about that before, but I don't think, like,
Mhm.
oh, you're so right with that because, again, they're just fucking white cis men probably taking up space that they don't need to take up. Like,
Yeah.
tell me how many trans people there are in sports. I mean, a good amount, sure, but,
Mhm.
like, not
In
half as
comparison.
much as
Exactly.
cis people.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of leagues where there is zero trans people at all,
mm,
and like they don't even notice. I notice, but it's like they don't,
right.
and then it's a problem if there's one. It's like okay,
Mhm. As you said it, there's not enough to be affecting you for you to even have a voice in this. So sit
yeah,
down, buddy.
right.
Like, ah, so true.
Mhm.
Now, I think their problem mainly stems with trans women
Yep.
because, quote unquote, they have a biological advantage.
Mm.
How do you feel about that statement?
Yeah, I said hell no. I wrote that down. And
Hell no.
I said obviously it's transphobic and also just like misogynistic because all the phobias are connected because it serves that idea that like women are like weaker than men and people who are transphobic they're gonna view trans women as men so that they're like in their mind they're trying to help women by being like you don't want these people competing with you but like you're insulting trans women and cis women in the same vein. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Very true.
Yeah.
I always hated that too because, like, I don't know. The whole, well, it's proven that men are just stronger than women. Oh my god, shut up.
Yeah,
Shut
like
up.
they think it's so ridiculous because there's so many different types of bodies and like just strengths and it's like that you can't just like say that. Like that's why there's like weight classes and stuff for wrestling and stuff like that because that's not it doesn't matter like your age or like even like your gender like everybody's going to have different strengths and weaknesses. And it's
I
shock up.
watched I watched a Jubilee video.
Mhm.
It was trans athletes versus cis athletes, whatever, and they were
Mhm.
arguing, and there was one trans woman who I think did roller derby, I think.
That's cool as
And
hell.
yeah, and she was like, cis women kick my ass all the time. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm a trans woman. Like, I don't have an advantage. Like,
Yeah.
even though she was obviously on hormones, and she was like,
Mhm.
any testosterone that I had in my body is gone, and that
Right.
no longer gives me an advantage over any of these women. So what the
Mhm.
fuck is the
Yeah,
point
it's
in
it's
your
so
argument?
unfair because you feel like I feel like a lot of trans athletes feel like okay, if I'm too good, then they're gonna like want to kick me out. But then if I'm not good at all, they're gonna be like, see, this is why you shouldn't compete where you don't belong. So it's like that seems like a lot of emotional and mental turmoil to be having and up in there, up in this noggin.
And also to point out somebody's, like, physical features,
Hmm.
it's just mean. Like,
Yeah, it's so
we're not doing
weird.
it to cis people. I don't point out cis people, like cis athletes, and be like, "Hey, that guy's got, you know, small shoulders. That woman has big hands." Like,
Yeah,
oh my god, like, relax.
right.
Why are you so obsessed with us?
It's
Like,
so weird, dude. And like, yeah, like you said, it's mostly trans women. And the thing is, like, all these people complaining. I'm like, you don't watch women's sports. I know, like, I can tell. Like, name one woman. You can't. Like, why do you care so much? You don't watch
yes.
these leagues. I do. A lot of people do. And a lot of people who do watch women's sports, they're like pretty accepting of it, actually. Like
Mm,
from what I've seen, like a lot of people like I watch the NBA and the WNBA. NBA
mm.
fan base, oh my god, it's awful, treacherous. Stay out of the way, stay away. But the WNBA fan base, like there's a lot of like non-binary people in the league. There's a lot of it like in coaches and staffs, like and there's like refs. Like it's like way more tolerant of trans people in general. So it's like you're getting up in arms. Meanwhile, the fans are like yeah, we're
Right.
we're cool with this. And like there's a lot of gay people in the league too. Like there's none in the NBA as far as we know. I'm sure there's someone who's like terrified to come out, but in women's sports it's a lot more common, and I feel like that helps too.
Yeah, again, proof that cis men are the problem mostly.
Yeah.
like, uh now I actually didn't know any of that, so that's really interesting. Appreciate you
Mhm.
sharing that. Um Now, with the argument of trans women have biological advantage, with that
Mhm.
argument, wouldn't that mean that trans men
Mhm.
have a disadvantage
Yeah,
then?
that's how the logic would go, but it's like they don't even like see us in this conversation.
Like, not at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And like honestly, even if trans people do have an advantage, like say that's like scientifically proven somehow, even though most of the time it's like no. There's like advantage all over the place in sports. Like Michael
Oh, yeah.
Phelps, like everyone talks about how like his lung capacity is like bigger, and like wouldn't that be an unfair advantage? But he gets praised for it. And then there's a guy in the NBA right now, Victor Wembanyama. He's 7'4", and that's without shoes. I think he's like 7'6" wearing shoes. Can you even like process how tall that is?
That is wild.
Yeah, and like he's amazing at it, like the sport. Like, well, I know basketball. There's a lot more that comes with just being tall, but still, like you're like who's blocking you?
Yeah, dude,
It's
dead
insane.
ass.
But he's allowed
Oh,
to, he's allowed to play. No one's gonna be like, no, you're too tall, and it's not fair. Get out of here.
right.
It's
And the same
ridiculous.
thing would happen for a cis woman too if she was abnormally tall. Like,
Yeah,
everyone would let her play.
exactly.
Like, anyone would let a cis woman who had broad shoulders, who was heavier, a little bit heavier, who just had,
Yeah,
you know, bigger bone structure, they would let her play, no
ex-
fucking questions asked. Like, she would be fucking praised for it. But
yeah.
because
Then
trans woman does,
that's
oh
the
my god.
thing is they get praised, and it's like, yeah, like it's like amazing, and incredible to watch, but also it's like they were just born that way. Like they didn't even work for that. They
Dead
just exist
ass.
that way. So it's like, yeah,
No,
that's
for
awesome,
real.
but it's like that's not even. They were just built like that.
Oh, that's like
Crazy.
insanely frustrating to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as you said, trans men just get lost in that conversation because
Yeah.
again, it's the same with the bathroom laws too. Like,
Right.
trans women are under the spotlight and getting all the hate for it to the point
Mhm.
where like people legitimately forget that by, you know, putting trans women or setting this narrative for trans women
Mhm.
that they, you know, can't use the bathroom they deserve to use, or, be in a sport that they want to be in. They don't realize
Mhm.
that they're disproving their argument because
Yeah.
trans men exist.
Right.
Like, now because you have a problem with trans women in sports, now trans men are automatically at a disadvantage when we're
Mhm.
not. Like, so what are
Yeah.
you going to do about that then?
Yeah.
Like, then it's like,
It's
okay,
insane.
are we going to have our own league? Like,
Yeah, I was like, because I haven't really thought about that before, and then it was a question, and it was like, if it's done by trans people, like I think you should have the option of like either or type thing. Like I don't think you should be forced to have like an all trans league. But there's this one soccer team that I keep up with, TRUK United FC Men, and it's like a all trans men uh team, and like they still
Mm,
play against cis men, but they also play against trans men too. And I feel like that euphoria and like camaraderie would be like awesome.
yeah.
Like I
I
can't
think
imagine.
I think I talked about that in like the second episode or some shit.
Nice.
And I was like, I wouldn't want to play. I wouldn't want to be a part of a trans league just because I
Hmm.
feel like I should,
Yeah.
be with cis people because I'm no
Yeah.
fucking different. But
Exactly.
also, as you just said, like, that ought to
That
actually be
sounds
like
so
really
fun.
fun.
Yeah, the if everyone on the team was also
Yeah.
like that would be so cool. Cause
Oh,
I've played sports my whole life, and I wish I could have experienced something like that.
yeah. I was gonna ask, what sports have you played?
Yeah, so when I was the first sport I tried was t-ball, and I was on like an all men's team, and it was just little me. That didn't really work. I did like t-ball, basketball for like a year, and then soccer, and then I like fell in love with soccer from the ages of like 6 to 16. I just
Huh?
played soccer, and I got pretty good at it. But then once like puberty started hitting, I was kind of like I feel uncomfortable, and I don't know why. And my dad was like, "No, like you're good." Like he thought it was me feeling like I'm not good enough to play. And I'm like, "No, I know I'm good, but I feel like weird here. And I didn't know why." And then I did rowing in high school, which I never thought I would do, but it was a what is that called when it's men and women?
Unisex.
Yeah, like you co-ed unisex
Go
type
ahead.
thing. Co-ed. Yeah, yeah, co-ed is the word I was looking for. But
My bad.
it was a co-ed team, so you could have like mixed boats of like men and women. I don't know why I liked it because at the time
Mm.
I was still like not really processing it, but that was really fun. But then for like the regattas and the races and stuff, I would have to be in a woman's boat, and I felt weird, and I was like, I don't know why. Like in my head, I had this thought that like I was just super misogynistic and like didn't like women or something. Like I was like, what is wrong with me? Why do I dislike this? I was so hard on myself, dude. It was insane.
Oh, that's wild. I've never
Yeah.
heard somebody say that actually, that like they hated how they looked or themselves so much that they thought
hmm
it was just women that they hated.
Cause like my mom
That's
was like, she was like, "Why do you not like this girly thing? Like, what's wrong with being girly?" And I was like,
so
"Nothing, nothing. It's just not for me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry."
Oh, that's like really funny to be honest. Like I'm just imagining like every misogynistic man or something
hmm
like hating on women, being like, "Are you sure you're not trans?"
Right?
Like,
Yeah, because I
oh,
never would be like towards other people. It was just towards
oh yeah,
myself. I was like, why don't I like this dress? There's nothing wrong with being like, because in my head, I was like, oh no, what if I'm one of those like pick me girls who like is trying to be a guy for the guys? It's like, no.
yeah, right,
I wish I could go back in time to him and be like, it's okay. It's all
right.
right. You're gonna figure it
Relax, take a
out.
deep breath. Yeah.
Yeah. But then he'd be like, who are you? Why do we look like that? What's going on?
Why do you have my face? Just boy.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, all in good time, sir. All in good time.
Right. I relate to what you said because I played basketball
Nice.
when I was younger for a little bit, and I loved it. I fucking loved playing basketball.
Mhm.
And then I stopped for a little while because I don't even fucking know why.
Mhm.
And then I went back to it when I was a little bit older,
Mhm.
and I was obviously playing with girls, and
Yeah.
I felt so uncomfortable. Like I
Mhm.
played that game or whatever, and I like went home and cried. I was like, "Why did I fucking hate that
Right.
so
Y
much?" And like,
yeah.
I don't think I even realized why I hated it until like just now in this
Right.
conversation.
Yeah, it's such a weird and like you try to explain it to other people because other people on your team aren't trans. They're like, "Why don't you feel like you fit in? Like we accept like we what do you mean?" I'm like, "I don't know, guys." So I'm glad I
Oh,
know now, but man, yeah.
I would still be scared. Like if I decided I wanted to play basketball again
Mhm.
for a team right now, I don't know that I would because I would be so afraid of that conversation of me being trans playing
Yeah.
with cis men. Like,
Right.
but
Yeah.
then okay, put me on a women's team. Would you want to do that? I don't think so.
Exactly.
Like,
It's like a lot of time they don't even like think about it. Like I feel like some people literally like forget that trans people exist, and I've experienced that a lot when I had my old ID because they would be staring at it and looking at me, and they'd be like, do you have a sister? Like, did you take her ID? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, how is this not a possibility in your head? Like, do I have to come out? I was literally at a movie theater trying to see an R-rated movie, which by the way you can see when you're 17, but because I look like this, they were like, I don't know if and I'm like, it's AMC. Like, are you a cop? Why do you care so much?
it's AMC.
Is it that deep? Just let me see a
Oh.
movie. It's not like I'm trying to buy alcohol right now. I'm just trying to see a movie. And I've been past 17 for a long time, and people at the mall also will stop you after like 5 p.m. or something. Like minors aren't supposed to be unaccompanied there, and it's so embarrassing.
Oh,
Because
I can
they look
imagine.
at it and they look back at me and they're like, "I'm so sorry," because it's not like like I'm 21, like I'm way past being a minor at this point. Oh my
No, I
god,
hear you.
but
No,
yeah,
fuck that. As you said, like it's whack as hell how that's not at least one of their first thoughts that someone could be
yeah,
trans when they're looking
right.
at an ID like that. Like, what? You
Yeah,
have a
but they
sister?
don't process. It's like, why is that not a possibility? But also back with the bathroom thing, I just thought about it. Like, if cis women are really that like scared of being with trans women, like I'm scared to go into the men's bathroom. Men are
Yeah.
scary and gross, but I still do it because I gotta
hmm
pee, and that's how it goes. Like, I don't think your feelings are more important than people's rights.
Mm. See, like that's oh, because that's always their argument, right? Is
Yeah,
that our feelings are,
yeah, they think that we're super sensitive. I'm like, you're the one who like what do you think is gonna happen? And the thing is, like, they won't like, if I try to say, like, a lot of men can be very predatory and, like, very this and that, they're like, "No, that's not true." But then they think trans women are, and I'm like, "Well, because you think of them as men, so you're
Mhm.
proving what I
You're
just
thinking
said."
Yeah, you're thinking of her as a man in a dress, and that's where the
Yeah,
problem stems from.
exactly.
Because you can't take a second to get educated about what trans is.
And, like, every trans woman I've talked to, they're like, will go so far to just avoid public bathrooms, like, all day, and will hold it in because 'cause they're so afraid of making someone uncomfortable, and it's like, they shouldn't have to go through that. It's
Nope.
awful.
Nope. No, it's rough. It's rough as
Yeah.
hell. And, like, to both of those problems, I feel like the fix is so easy, but also so hard because you can't
Mhm.
change people's minds and you can't
Yeah.
make them
Especially if they don't
believe
want
shit.
to change
Yeah.
their mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what ends up happening is just trans people just get fucked because there's nothing we can really do
Yeah.
about it at the end of the day, which is
Yeah.
kind of heartbreaking. So we're stuck in this like middle ground, not really middle ground, but
I know what you
of
mean.
just, secretly using the bathroom
Yeah.
or holding it in all day
Yeah.
or
It
not being able to play sports. And it's just I don't know.
it got so bad. At one point, I had to go on, like, this separate anxiety medication because I, like, physically couldn't pee. Like, if there was other men in the restroom, like, it wouldn't come out because I was so
Me too.
afraid.
Me
Because
too.
I'm like, everyone's gonna be like, "Why am I like, why is this guy sitting?" And, like, why do I hear the toilet paper moving?"
No, me.
But then I found out but then my partner, he was like, "Well, I sit down sometimes." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What? You guys do
I
that?"
I had a cis male friend say the exact same
Yeah.
thing to me, and I was like,
It blew my mind. It
"What?"
was crazy. Because I think the whole concept of urinals are, like, insane. I'm like, "So you're just like a guy can just walk up next to you and you're just, like, peeing to get that's crazy. That's
It's so
insane."
intimate, and
If
for, like
yeah.
for people who are so afraid of being gay, typically,
Yeah, they'll
weird.
they're chill with that.
Weirdos.
I had friends in high school who would, like, do, like, pee races where they would, like, all use the restroom at the same time, and, like, whoever peed like, was done first won or something, and I'm like, "I think even if I was cis, I would still use the stall because what the fuck is going on over here?"
Like, what is that? What is that about? And it's always the guys who, like, are really homophobic and call everything
Yeah.
gay, like, yeah. It's always the ones who wanna see each other's weenies. Ridiculous. It's so weird. Urinals are so weird.
They're
I
so
can't.
weird. No one's
Ugh.
talking about this.
No, like, it's so intimate. It's so intimate.
So intimate.
And for it, as I said before, it's like typically cis men are the homophobic ones, and like,
Mhm.
why are y'all okay with this happening?
Right. They're
Like,
just chilling.
if you were truly homophobic, you wouldn't be okay with another man's weenie 2 feet away from you. Not even. I swear to God, something is sus about men and urinals. I swear.
I'm
Sorry.
so glad someone's talking about this.
Honestly, it needs to be talked about more because it's weird. Uh, Anywho.
Like the trans
uh,
athletes.
yeah. So, okay, have you seen online? Because I didn't know about hormone testing until I
Mhm.
watched, that Jubilee video,
Mhm.
and I don't know how I feel about it. How do you feel
Yeah,
about
I
hormone testing?
also didn't know a ton, so I like was researching it, and it just like it feels so weird. Like it just feels very invasive because it's such a such a strict cutoff that I feel like just can't account for a lot of stuff. Like there was one story I knew about, I think for yeah, the Canadian soccer team. She went by hold on, let me see. Let me see. Oh no, it was a different one. It was Hannah Mountsee's Australian handball player, and she was good enough to go to the Olympics, and then her request got denied because she's been on hormones for 11 months, and it's supposed to be 12. So it's like a 4 week difference prevented her from going to the Olympics. It's like
That is such
we need rules
bullshit.
for like that's like I don't think it can be such a like strict deadline type thing. I think it should be a case by case scenario, but I don't think they even want to put enough like effort and thought into that probably. Like everybody just wants
No.
like a quick fix for it because they're like we don't want to deal with these trans people, but they're
Deadass.
gonna keep existing. God damn it! And it's like yes we are. Yeah.
I mean, if maybe if you test you hormone test everybody, even cis people, like
Yeah.
everybody needs to be
Yeah.
hormone tested, then and
Right.
then maybe like I don't know because usually at least for trans men, I know that
Mhm.
we like if you've tested my hormones right now, they'd be in the
Mhm.
same range as a cis man.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it works. I think it
Yeah.
works the
And it
same way
depends
for
on
trans
the
women. I don't know.
day of the week too. Because I know that Planned Parenthood will try to test my levels like 3 or 4 days after my shot day. Because it depends. Like if you take it like on shot day, it's gonna be a and
Yeah.
if it's like the day before, it's like well,
Yeah, I'm always so
yeah.
bad with that too. They're always like, "Go." I think they tell me a day before or 3 days after, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I don't know
Yeah.
what day
Right.
it is,
Yeah.
and I'm always late with my shot, so I'm like, just fucking take
I
my blood.
see.
I don't know.
I
I don't
try to be
know.
good about it. Mine's always on Wednesdays, so I try to like have a little routine thing in the morning. I just put on like some like thing on my TV that'll make me happy, but I don't put on anything funny because I did that one time
Oh
and I
God.
was like inserting it and I laughed and it hurt so bad. I was like, ah, ah.
Yeah,
Oh my
no,
god.
I have to have music, otherwise I feel like
Nice.
I'll die, even though
Mhm.
that's probably not the case. I couldn't do it in silence though. If I tried to do it in
Mhm.
silence, I feel like I would get way too anxious and
Yeah, because that's like I need something else to be like thinking about. If I'm just thinking about doing this thing, like I take forever. Like I know when I first did it, I'd be like putting the needle in, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm pushing in. I'm just like shaking, holding this, and I think eventually it'll go in.
Do you do it in the thigh?
I do it in my stomach, which is crazy because my stomach is like pretty sensitive. Honestly, I don't know. Some days it won't feel like anything, and then some days it'll hurt. Either when I'm putting it in or when I'm actually injecting it. I think because there's probably like a very specific spot that's like the best, but I can never remember where.
That's my fucking problem. Like if it
Hmm.
if it hurt every time, I
Hmm.
think I would be happier with that.
I see.
Because it's always the fact that I don't know if it's gonna hurt or not.
Yeah, it's
I
like a
don't know what to
false
expect.
hope when it doesn't, and I'm like, I've done it, I figured it out, and then the next week it's like, oh damn, never
I
mind.
do the exact same thing the next week, and I'm like, why wasn't it the same? Why did this
Yeah,
one hurt?
you're right.
I don't get it. It pisses me off.
Yeah.
um, do we talk about? Oh yeah, we talked about having a specific league for trans people.
Hmm.
The thing with that is that there's just look, there's a lot of trans people in the world, like a lot,
Hmm.
but not enough
Yeah, so it
to
feels
have our
like
own league. There'd be like two of
yeah,
us. You know what I mean?
right, and
Like,
like leagues are definitely like still supposed to be based on skill too. So it's like if you're lumping people in just because they're trans, but one's like trying to be a beginner and trying to learn, and the other one's like could go pro. It's like that's what are we doing?
mhm. And it's like I don't know. For a lot of sports, there's different weight classes and stuff, and like,
Hmm.
why can't we just do that? I
Yeah,
don't get it. Why is it so complicated?
yeah.
Like,
The hormone thing you suggested, where you just test everybody, I think like it's either everybody or nobody. Like if you're only doing it for a certain group of people, like that feels like kind of like insidious. I don't like that.
yep.
I don't like it.
And then just put the trans person within the right weight class.
Yeah,
The other people who weigh the same. I don't get why that's
it
so
feels
hard.
like I try so hard to not get mad because to me it's so simple. Like it's such a simple, just like just do
Like,
this. But because of people's biases and phobias and whatever, they're like we can't possibly conceive this notion at all.
right. And then you have like fucking people like Caitlyn Jenner who are
Oh my
trans
god.
and think that trans people don't belong in sports.
I can't
What?
believe like I can't imagine like every time I see something like that where like I'll know women in my life who are like the most misogynistic people I know I swear are women because they're so like awful to like other women their age and I'm like what are you doing? What's up?
What's up?
When you like
You
to have a
okay?
feeling of community, is that
Yeah,
lacking in your life? It really seems like it. Like I just can't imagine wanting to advocate against my own community. It's crazy to me.
right. And like it's always the women who just want male validation, to be
Yeah, and like
honest.
it doesn't work too, because they're gonna be misogynistic to you too. Like
Hmm.
Caitlyn Jenner, they're still gonna be transphobic to you. I promise. Like they're
Hmm.
not gonna
They're
pick you and
still
be
gonna
like, well,
want
you're
you dead.
different.
Right. Yeah. And the people who are like, you know what, fuck trans people, but that Caitlyn Jenner is she's all right. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
that person still wants you dead, Caitlin. Like, they
Yeah.
still think you have a mental illness. Like,
Right.
imagine craving that validation from somebody who wishes you were dead.
Yeah. I just nope.
Like, yuck. You're gross. You're gross, Caitlin.
Just not even just like a middle finger, just like thumbs down. Not cool.
Boo.
Boo.
Boo,
Tomato, tomato.
Caitlin.
I hope she sees this.
Dude, I fucking. Oh. Uh, well, you shared a lot of stuff that I didn't know about athletes and
Nice.
sports and trans
Mhm.
people, so I appreciate you sharing that all with me. Uh, we just hit the hour mark, and that's a
Nice.
pretty good place to end the episode. That's about
Nice.
where I wanted most of them to be.
Cool.
But before we go,
Mhm.
your trans song of the week. What'd you
Yes.
pick?
I picked Laps Around a Picture Frame by Broadside, and the
Mm,
original um meaning of it is like there's the gender isn't really clear, probably intentionally, but there's like one like stereotypically like popular, well liked person, and then the perspective of one like introverted person struggling in a crowd, but they're ultimately having like the same panic attack at like the same place. And like I think it's vague enough to leave up for interpretation, and I looked up and like they're cool with it too. And like the song itself isn't about being trans, but it really feels like it because there's this one line that says like, "You say I beg for attention, but you don't see my reflection, and the person I am ain't the girl I was raised to be. I live my life on this image that you built for me," which I feel like is like exactly how it felt with my mom for sure. Because she definitely thought I was like trying to reach for attention. She's like, "Why are you doing this? Like, do I not give you enough attention? Like, why are you transitioning?" And I'm like, "That's not what's going on." And like
oh,
I spent a lot of my life living it based on what she would want from me, and like the trans thing really ruptured that, but in like the best way possible, because it
mm,
helps me in other ways be like, well, I need to do what I want to do, not what someone else wants me to do. So
period. I love that.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me. You know,
Yeah.
before we started today, I listened to that song by Broadside,
Nice.
and Max, my editor,
Hmm.
is here, and I said, "Ooh, we have a song by Broadside," and I know that he likes Broadside, so
Nice.
I was like, he was like, "Oh, what song?" And I said the
Hmm.
song, and he was like, "I fucking knew it, I knew it."
Hell
And
yeah.
then I listened to the song, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And that line that you said spoke out to
Hmm.
me as well, and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
that
because at first
that
when I heard
tracks."
that, I was like, "What's this guy talking about?" The girl I was raised to be. Hello,
Yeah, I was like, "Hang
you
on, is he trans?
right?
What's
I looked. I
happening?"
was like, "Hello, what's up?" And they're from
Uh,
Virginia too, which is awesome. They're
oh, really?
from a city like 2 hours away from me, so
Oh,
they come to that city and then I'll go up because going to hometown shows for a band is so awesome. So
period.
yeah.
Period. I love that. Thank you for
Hmm.
sharing that with me and everybody else.
Hmm. Hmm.
Before we go,
Hmm.
your socials, where people can follow you if you want.
Yeah, I'm in the Discord that you have. Hmm. I'm not active. I used to be more active on Discord, and then I kind of like didn't game as much, so I stopped. But I'll probably
Mm.
be more active now. It's just like Matt N 611, and then like the Instagram is just Matt G Nolan, and then the TikTok I can put there just so you can like tag it if you like put it on TikTok, but it's like a
Mhm.
private account. I'll let anybody follow me. I don't really care. It's just I get those things all the time where it's like this person is in your contacts, and it's like someone I haven't talked to from middle school, and I'm like, oh my god,
I
hell.
hate that. I hate that with a burning
It's
passion.
insane. But
Horrible.
it's just like the Matty Pizza. I used to go by Matty Pizza. That was like my name. I don't know why. I just liked pizza a lot, and that stuck. That was my Instagram name for so long that I changed it in like 8th grade, and people got really mad at me. They're like, "I can't believe you would change it to your legal. That's so upsetting."
Oh,
Oh
Maddie
yeah,
Pizza.
and there's this
I
one
love it.
thing that just came up yesterday. If you could link it, there's a GoFundMe for my cousin and her wife are trying to have a child, and it's really hard for same-sex couples. And they did try, and recently, she had a miscarriage, which is just like so awful and really sad. And it costs so much to try to do the process again. So they
Mhm.
made a GoFundMe that I'd love to like link in the description if I could.
Of
Anything would
course, yeah.
help.
Of
Yeah.
course. That will
Yeah.
100% be in the description below this
Us.
video.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Of
That's very
course.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, thank you for sharing your socials as well. Everyone should go follow Matt because Matt is awesome. And you should follow me at HRT Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. I post on there every single day. Patreon. I just put out a behind the scenes kind of thing to Max's episode. So if you want to check that out, subscribe to on Patreon. Discord. I want to get more people in the Discord. With Discord, I put out, little sneak peeks sometimes, my thoughts on what to do with future episodes. I ask everybody in the Discord what they want to see and stuff sometimes. So if you're interested in that, join the Discord. It's not that hard. I feel like a lot of people don't join the Discord because they don't know how Discord works, but I promise it's very easy. And if you ever need help, I or my mods will help you, no problem. So yeah, and I'm trying to put out stickers soon. They look like this. If you're interested in that, leave a comment. I really would love to sell them. And yeah, that is about it for today. I drop videos on here every fucking Tuesday. I almost forgot what day. Every Tuesday. Yeah, so subscribe to me on here, and I love you all so much. Thank you for the continuous support. And Matt, thank you so much for being on today. This was great. I really appreciated it.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, I will see you guys next week. Bye.